Well, good morning. Welcome to our March 11th, 2021 Utah State Board of Education and the Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind Governing Board meetings today. It appears that we have a quorum. Before I read the statement, I just want to do a roll call, if that's okay. We'll make sure your mics are working. Board Member Earl?
Yes.
Member Hanson?
Good morning.
Morning. Member Hymas?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Member Straight?
Hello.
Member Lear? Not seeing her in the system. Member Cannon? Member Hart?
Here.
Thank you. Member Klein?
Good morning.
Morning. Member Moss?
Here.
Member Booth? Board Member Booth?
I see him on here, but he's not unmuting.
We'll come back. Member Norton?
Here.
Thank you. The Mark Huntsman's here. Member Booth?
Member Cannon is trying to get on. She's having some computer issues.
Okay, we do have a quorum. So we're going to get started here. So we'll watch for those to come on. Before we get started, I need to read the statement on our electronic meeting. As authorized by Utah Code 52-4, this meeting is being held electronically without an anchor location to reduce the risk to health and safety from COVID-19 by limiting the frequency of in-person meetings. Okay, check that off. Also, again, want to welcome everyone to our meeting. A lot of people online and those who are watching a streaming. We do have a big agenda today, board members. We have a couple time certain things, one at 1 and an additional item at 1:30. So guys kind of keep mind of our clocks and watches there. Want to excuse Deputy Superintendent Scott Jones today and tomorrow. He won't be able to join us. So that just moves us right into our board member message from board member Randy Booth. Board Member Booth, are you with us?
I'm here now. Thank you. I got lost. I couldn't. I was here, and then all of a sudden, none of you were there. So I think I'm back. If possible, I'd like to share my screen. Can Jerry help me with that?
For you, Jeff, you'll need to stop sharing.
Can you see that? Here we are at the end of another legislative session. It's hard to believe how fast the years go by, but as we conclude this session, I'm filled with a real sense of gratitude for a lot of people who have served and shared and been very committed to the process. I'm particularly grateful for the staff. We have a remarkable staff with USBE who have continued to keep us informed, continued to represent us in such wonderful ways. Grateful for the superintendency. They are marvelous individuals. Grateful for the legislators, our partners in this very important endeavor of public education. Our board leadership has done such an outstanding job of keeping us informed and keeping us on task so that we could react to much of the work that was being accomplished and in a timely manner so that our partners in the legislature had an opportunity to hear our support and our suggestions and recommendations. I'm grateful for Lorraine, who keeps us organized and keeps us in the right place at the right time. Certainly the thousands of parents and constituents who in the last month have written to us and called us, and our local boards, our local leaders of learning, certainly the teachers, our certified staff, classified staff. Why do we all do it? Why are we involved in this endeavor? All of us very quickly could come back with the answer. It's for the kids. It's for our Utah's children. And I'm grateful for the challenges, the struggles, the uphill battles, the climbs. We really are blessed to share in this responsibility for such a great cause, Utah's children. On a recent trip, I had an opportunity to visit Zimbabwe. Years ago, when it was Rhodesia, it was kind of a country that was known as the breadbasket of Africa. Very successful agricultural program, feeding millions upon millions of people. And then changes in the government rendered it in a position of being almost helpless from an economic standpoint. And as we visited there, I had an opportunity to visit a school. We drove outside of the capital city of Harare and went off of the road that was paved onto a dirt road. And for a couple of miles then traveled on these dirt roads through these neighborhoods of what for a Zimbabwean is very progressive housing development, where families are able to live in what they are considering to be a great improvement over what they've known in their lives. And then we pulled up to a schoolyard where there were over 700 children lined up waiting to greet this group from BYU, from America. And this gentleman that we see here standing is octogenarian, a great grandpa who saw that the children in their neighborhood were not being educated. There was no public education. And so there were no funds for public education. So he organized a group of volunteers to teach over 700 children who meet in this facility and are taught. Many of these children don't have parents. They're being raised by grandparents, by aunts and uncles. Their parents have passed away from HIV and AIDS. Our students pulled up in that bus and were greeted by these smiling faces, these wonderful young students who were so excited to be pursuing an education. We had come with some gifts from people in Utah, and we gave each one of them a pencil, a notebook, a little toy car or a little doll, a ball, a little piece of candy, and these kids were in heaven. They thought they died and gone to heaven with the visit of these American college students. We were very interested as we toured their facilities. This is one of the schoolrooms. There are 12 of them for the 12 grades. They have a morning session and an afternoon session to be able to teach all 700 of these children. Many times they just meet outside on the dirt. Here's the interior of one of the elementary classrooms. Teachers' efforts to brighten up the rather drab interior. Notice the dirt floor. Notice the desks that they are so thrilled that they have benches for the children to sit on. Notice the days of the week and the safe water posters that the teacher has made. These children have so little. Their teachers have so little in terms of resources. I am so grateful for the resources that we have in the state of Utah, for the team of partners who are willing to work with us and work together to solve the challenges and the problems that we face. We do have a number of issues that demand our attention and require a lot of study, a lot of reading, a lot of listening, a lot of discussion in order to discover what the best solution is for Utah's children. But we have resources, and even though they may not be what we would like as we compare ourselves to certain other states across the United States, compared to our educator friends in Zimbabwe, we are greatly blessed. And so I would just like to say thank you to all of you and to all of those who make our job a joy and an exciting challenge. There's a song that I've been singing for a lot of years. Sometimes, not often enough, we reflect upon the good things, and our thoughts always center around those we love, and we think about those people who mean so much to us, who for so many years have made us so very happy. And we count the times we have forgotten to say thank you, and just how much we love them. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Booth. This is very, you set a new high water mark for Board Member messages here. Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Thank
Good
you.
way to start our meeting. Thanks. Next, we'll hear from, this is our employee recognition. Superintendent Dixon and Michelle Watts, our HR director. Superintendent, are you available?
I am. It looks like we're starting with Michelle Watts.
Okay,
Good morning.
Director Watts.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Thank you. And thank you, Board Member Booth.
now we can.
That was
Oh, now
really touching. Oh, is it not working?
yeah, it just went quiet. I don't know if you have to be close to your mic or,
Okay, I have it right here.
okay, we're
Thank
good.
you. That was very touching. I love seeing the faces of those beautiful children. So we will go ahead and get started. These are new hires for the State Board of Education for the months of January and February. Heidi Pitkin. She's an executive secretary and previously worked at Chemnetics as an administrative assistant.
We're losing your voice, Director Watts.
Does this work better?
Yes.
Okay, let's try
Sorry,
that.
it just tapered and went really quiet. Okay, you're good.
Okay. Jeff, can you scroll down? Brent Cox, CTE education specialist from Arizona and Utah, and he previously worked as a Jordan School District teacher. Debbie Fuchs, Office Specialist 2, Licensing Renewals, previously worked at Prospect Airport Services and as an administrative assistant. Christine Benevento, from Denver, Colorado, previously worked at Danville Development as an assistant program manager, an Office Specialist 2. Mary Ann Farnsworth, SPED Secondary Effective Instructional Specialist, and previously worked at Davis County School District as a 6th grade educator. Liz Bunker, State Charter School Board Portfolio Manager, and previously worked at the Utah International Charter School in secondary art. Andrew Vardas Doan, previously worked in miscellaneous locations, looks like California and Nevada, as a teacher. Aaron Genko, purchasing agent, previously worked at Progressive Insurance as a bodily injury administrator. Jordan Robinson, works in the mailroom, previously worked at Altium Health as an administrative assistant. Laura Wilson is an auditor 4 in school finance and previously worked at West Test Engineering as an accountant and analyst. Samantha Sego Garcia, MTSS educational specialist and previously worked at Bountiful Elementary as an elementary school teacher. Kathy Chalice, student data privacy trainer, previously worked at Tooele County School District as an educational technical specialist. That is, I believe, the last one. Welcome to all of these new employees.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Director Watts. Let's see, Jeff, I'll try to share my screen if you can allow that. While I'm waiting for the ability to share my screen, I just want to take a personal moment of privilege and give a shout out to all of our employees. I was driving into the office this morning reflecting back on a year ago when the World Health Organization declared the worldwide pandemic, and things just started to domino. State agencies closed down, and in this past year, all of our employees have leaned in to do whatever it takes to support our educators, our families, our students, and I miss them. We kind of wander in and out of here from time to time, but wherever they work, whether they're here in the office or at home, I just want to commend our amazing employees, and especially those who have joined our agency during this time. It's just such a different culture when we're not all here in the office together. So just a shout out to all of our wonderful employees. Today, we get to highlight a great employee, Tammy Walker. And, you know, I get a lot of interesting, let's see if I can just share the slide. I always love to read about our employees when we get the nominations. And I have to say that this is the first time that we've ever had somebody quoted from Jay-Z. So let me just see if I can pull that up. Tammy works in child nutrition, in our child nutrition program. And I just have to read this because I loved it about Jay-Z. First of all, she's responsible for keeping CMP together. That's the opening line of her nomination. And she compiles a lot of reports, and she's done this really heavy lift on a new platform. That it's a new platform for the CMP web portal. But I listened to this quote. This says, it's not that Tammy just compiles reports and keeps us together, but it's how she goes about doing it. Jay-Z said, excellence is being able to perform at a high level over and over again. You can hit a half-court shot once. That's just the luck of the draw. I've seen the attribute of excellence in Tammy in many different contexts. It's one of those observations that accumulates over time. So Tammy, if you ever see her in the hallway, in a cubicle, wherever she is always smiling, friendly, helpful, and she's just one of those quiet, go about doing whatever it takes employees. And I was so excited to see her nominated because she's just somebody that we all admire and love. And so very proud of Tammy and all of our employees, but congratulations especially to Tammy. During this time, we always say your parking place is wide open, so you get to choose whatever parking place you want. And then, of course, we have a few goodies for her that we'll leave in her office. So congratulations to Tammy. And again, thank you to all of our employees. a year later during this very challenging time. Thank you, Chair Huntsman.
Thank you, Superintendent, and what an honor, Tammy, to have you be our Employee of the Month. So, and enjoy the euphoria that comes from that. So, thank you for your good work. We're also very grateful for that program. It's important, it's very difficult to do a highlight in a short period of time. So there's always more you could learn, but somehow we seem to pull it off. So I'll turn the time over to Director Van Holten, who will introduce our highlight.
Great, thank you so much, Chair Huntsman. This is Jeff Van Holten, Director of Public Affairs for the Utah State Board. It's good to be here with all of you today. Very excited to quickly introduce you to San Juan School District. They have been doing some exciting and great things down in San Juan, and I thought it'd be a great highlight for all of you to see. And some of you were actually just down there a day or two ago seeing some of this great stuff. I am going to turn the time over either to Aaron or Chris or whoever is the spokesperson for San Juan. And do any of you need to share your screens? We can have Jerry give you the ability.
Yes, I believe I'll take off first. I'm Superintendent Nielsen.
Superintendent.
Chris will share his screen. Chris Mont.
Thank you. Take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. Let me just kind of pick up a little bit off that awesome educational message this morning by Board Member Booth, and he's talked about gratitude. Let me say thank you for hosting Team San Juan. I'm proud of this organization and proud of this team, but I also want to very much thank the board, the state school board, for your help in navigating this pandemic. I know your leadership has been very, very important, and I know I've watched as you've worked through curriculum and through waivers and through a number of issues that have really allowed us to navigate the challenges that we face each day. So thank you very much. I didn't want to miss that opportunity. I also want to thank Superintendent Dixon and her staff. Their support has been a constant, not just through what you will see here in just a second or a minute, but a constant throughout the years of supporting San Juan School District. And we certainly appreciate all the help and support that we directly receive. I want to just quickly, I know we don't have much time, but I want to reference in what you'll see here in the work we've been doing in the San Juan School District in probably the last 10 years. And maybe before that, but we have really in the last 10 years put a focus on equity and providing access to curriculum and to high levels of learning. And we've realized there were many disparities in our system, and we've worked very hard to address those. I could talk for hours about the initiatives and the things that we have in place, trying to overcome those disparities and to provide equitable situations for all of our scholars, all of our learners. Our Q-tip program, which brings in experienced teachers, our San Juan Quest model, where we really look at building systems of support in the school, and we've done so much in the area of recruiting and retaining and bonuses and housing and areas to really try to hang on to our teachers and grow our own. So that lens of equity is really what brings us here today. We've known that there is another disparity that is at the home level and the resources that many of our students that live on the Navajo Nation have. And in their home alone, running water and electricity and things that we take for granted like internet. And as education has moved so much towards digital resources, that disparity has actually increased. But I never before, we've been so excited, an idea came forward that we could address this disparity, that we could provide internet in the homes. And we took that idea, and with a lot of support and a lot of help, we ran. And we're excited now to show you where we're at with it. I very much believe this is monumental. I think this will literally be a game changer for students in San Juan School District and a game changer in the area of equity and access to high levels of learning. So we're very excited about it. So with that, I will allow Chris Monson, who's one of our district technology technicians, will take it from here and highlight what we are introducing as of this month. So Chris, go ahead.
Thank you, Superintendent. Good morning. I'm going to give you a really quick overview of what we're doing down here. San Juan County is an extremely large and complex, let me share this area that is, make sure that comes in, that is very, very difficult to understand unless you actually come down here and look at it. So what we had is we called this the river region, and this is the San Juan River that goes across here. And most all of the students that we're talking about is down below that. There's one little area above that. But what we had to do is be able to get to the homes. We had to go and find these tops of these hills, these mountains, these plateaus, so we can shoot around the canyons and all these large mesas that are in the way. So the first thing we did is take on these large towers. A lot of them we had, Blanding, Cedar Mesa, Clay Hills, and getting down to Navajo Mountain and Monument Valley. Some of these we actually had in place, but then we had to build a lot more. We had to build them down at the chapter houses, and we had to go down into Monument Valley. We made relationships with Elk Petroleum. We made relationship with UNHS, the health organization down there. They have a large tower that we were able to attach to. So we have these large radios that spread down over this area to create the backbone that we have. The next thing we did is create smaller towers that get down closer to the homes and the communities to where they were in. These smaller towers they're not very big. They're like 1 foot in a triangle, and they sometimes go up to 30 feet, sometimes 40. The larger towers get up to 60 feet, and even UNHS is at 200 feet. So then we go down to these smaller towers, and then we found that the smaller towers, we still have to get out to other areas. So then we create these other nodes that are poles that attach to homes themselves, that at those home site areas, those poles can go to another 2 or 3 houses. So then when we add the houses, it gets very, very complicated. As you can see, as we get down into, this is Monument Valley area around El Jado. And then if we put the paths in there, you'll see that we go from larger towers down to the smaller towers, down to the homes themselves. So we have, we're trying to get to about over 500, I believe it's about 530 homes we have right now. That's hopefully going to be a live document to where as kids move around, we can still capture that and get to them. We have a small video to show. We're sorry, we don't have a lot of time to explain a little bit more in detail.
Chris, go ahead and drill down into a home though, and just give them the idea of, some of the.
Okay, so the home, I was going to show a different little area. So this home, everybody came down and we drove out to this home right here. So we had to actually get to a larger tower, bounce off a smaller tower, bounce off a pole, and actually get down to this home, which is nestled down in this sandstone area down here. So this is a very large sandstone backdrop. They have absolutely no cell coverage down there. And you can see there, they have a very, very beautiful home site right there, but you just can't get to it. You can't get cell phone, you can't get phone service, but now we can get down there, and we've actually moved the classroom from, it was probably about 45 miles away. We've moved that classroom right down into that pocket now, so those kids can actually sit there and visit with their teachers, get the homework they need to do, and continue to be educated.
And let me interject right there that I received an email from a 5th grader and an 8th grader in that home, thanking me as a superintendent for the first time that they were able to participate with their class. I thought that was so cool, being the first that they came online and they recognized to say thank you, that it was making a tremendous difference. So go ahead, Chris.
So we have one little video that we showed everyone, and if I can just stop sharing this guy. I'm not sure how to get onto I'm not sure how to get back out of stop sharing. Sorry, it's not coming up. Oh, here it is. Stop the share. That one. Screen share this one. Go here. Share that one. And then this video right here is what we showed to kind of give you a little bit of a understanding.
I'm really glad Grandma's Hogan was right there. I don't know if you.
We are too. We are too.
So that's a little bit, I mean, that's as the crow flies. And those people that came down that I took out in the cars understand to get there, you cannot fly like a crow. And it's very difficult for our buses to get out there. Our buses spend about 1.3 million miles getting out to these kids, and they've been delivering everything. And it's been such an excellent program. But now that we can actually get down there, we can light up and have these kids actually in their classrooms and be able to continue on as if they were even in the school. Is there any questions that anybody has?
I would add, I just don't think you can overstate the effect, the positive effect this will have on education for these students. This is monumental and incredible. I haven't seen anything like this in my career in San Juan, where we're going to be able to provide this type of access to digital resources for these students this has been such a struggle in the past. So it's very exciting. But we would answer any questions or entertain any questions if there are any, or comments.
I'm not seeing any hands raised, but Superintendent, can you speak to the funding? And then also, can you speak to I was fortunate enough to be there Monday and had a tour of this. Can you speak to, in your district, that a lot of, here in Utah, we think, oh, things are opening up and things are got better and students are in the schools, but can you speak to your reality of what's happening in your district as far as the lockdown that's in one particular area of your district and those things that you're dealing with?
As for the funding, yes, this project, it looks to me, as I estimate, and we've worked very closely with Sarah Young and Superintendent Dixon's office on the funding. It's come through CARES funding, ESSER 1, I believe, and then there's a second allocation that we received. And it's going to total in the area of $4.5 to $5 million project. I think it's about a 2-year project that we bid off and we tried to get done in basically about 90 days. By the time we got the contract in place and everything, we had maybe up to 2 months to complete it before the December 31st original deadline. Of course, that deadline was extended, but it's a tremendous amount of work that we bid off, and it's exciting to see the progress we've made. The reality of the situation is our county has seen almost a night and day situation, or complete opposite perspectives on our pandemic. What we would call our mountain region, which is Blanding and Monticello, LaSalle, the pandemic has not had the effects, the negative effects that it has in what we call our river region, which is our Monument Valley, Montezuma Creek, and Navajo Mountain. Our river region has just been decimated with the negative effects. They have seen so much more death, so much more hospitalization. They had some of the highest outbreak rates anywhere in the state and even country. They have been virtual learning all year long. We have not had students in the building for one day of school, and that's been by parental choice. We did a survey and reached out to the parents, and we were informed very boldly by 90% of our parents that they were not comfortable sending their children back to school. And it's continued, and it continues to this day. And so it's been very different to navigate this pandemic with our mountain region versus our river region. It's been just almost opposite in how we've navigated it, and working with our parents and their perspective and how they want to see things happen according to the pandemic.
Thank you, Superintendent, for answering those two questions. Board Member Moss, the hands raised.
Quick question. You mentioned the rates of broadband access. I'm curious about home devices, and I apologize if I missed that, but what's the prevalence of devices, and how are parents and students connecting as you expand this?
Great. Go ahead, Aaron. I'll let you answer.
Well, in the past, we'd started a one-to-one program with Chromebooks previous to this, about 4 years previous to this. So by the time we got to this point, we have those devices in the hands of students. This network will only work as a local access network, just as if you were in the school. So YouTube, certain YouTube will be allowed, but say Netflix or some of those wouldn't.
Hey, Aaron, can you state your full name and your title for those that haven't met yet, like I have?
Oh, sure. Aaron Brewer. I'm the technology director in San Juan School District.
Thank you. Did you have a follow-up? Board Member Moss, your hand still raised? Oh, okay. Well, we're good. I want to respect those hands as they go up. Superintendent, I'm not seeing any other hands raised or questioned. I appreciate the presentation. When in the chair's comments later today, I'm going to briefly talk about my experience down there on Monday, if that's okay. Thank you for your good work, and I'm just totally amazed at how fast you rolled out and got this infrastructure in place to make these connections. So kudos to you and your staff, and your also the relationship that you have with the industry down there, and then the other agencies to make this work. Thank you. Superintendent, did you have something you wanted to add?
Thank you, Chair. I took my hand down, but I just wanted to share appreciation to Superintendent Nelson and his staff for their graciousness in allowing us to see all of this firsthand. I know they're very busy and had plenty to do, but for me, the culminating effect was to not only drive on all those rutted roads and see everything once we saw everything on screen through Google Map, but to actually be in a classroom and hear a young woman named Sarah watch her connect for the first time with her teacher. And I loved her patience. For her, it was a first experience, and she was excited, but she was chatting with her teacher while Nearpod was sort of rebooting. She was singing this beautiful Dene Navajo song in the background and just humming along while she was patiently waiting. But to watch that connection with her teacher and to use a tool that this board raised their hands in unison to vote for use of some CARES Act funding to buy statewide licenses for Nearpod, just to see everything come together and to know that people like Chris and Aaron hiked up over all of those rocks when Sarah Young got a receipt that for reimbursement and could see that they'd been to Ace Hardware to actually construct these towers. It's just, I just can't express enough how amazed I am at your creativity, your fortitude, your perseverance to do what's right for students, and to be able to see that firsthand will just be something I'll always remember as a highlight of my career. So thank you so much to all of you for your vision and leadership and just the hard work that you put into it. You're just a spotlight for the nation. So thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
I do have Board Member Earl's hands raised. Board Member Earl.
Yes, thank you. My question is it around, it's literally saving 2 hours of driving, right? 2 hours of time that kids are, for some of these students, right, where they're able to stay at their home and access at the time that they're able to get on with their teacher. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that we had done kind of as an intermediate step is we set up some drive-by Wi-Fis. We had 5 or 6 of those because we were struggling with hot spots. So we needed to make sure students could get that. So we had set those up, trying to get those as close to students as we could, but they then would have to sit in their car to access or to communicate with teachers. So that lets us do everything that we can do in a classroom in the home for the most part.
Okay, so they were sitting in their car doing their assignments, is that?
Some were, yes, because
okay.
it would be like not having internet and going to McDonald's to get onto your class, except
right.
we could set those up kind of out in the areas that we could at churches or places like that. So yes, so they would have to drive and do their assignments and then, drive back.
We tried to make it so that anybody on the reservation only had to drive a minimum of a half hour to get to a hotspot. Was our goal to do that. And now that we've got to the home, it's completely eliminated.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'm not seeing any of their hands raised. Superintendent and your staff, thank you for being our education highlight.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. Good luck with your meeting.
All right.